Hello and welcome. It's Saturday and I'm stamping. I'm just going to check I'm live in the right place. Just hoping that some people will come in while I'm waiting for the catch up. How are we all? How are we doing? Okay, I'm live in the right place. That's always a good start. If you're joining, please do say hello. It's lovely to know who is here. Okay, so this morning, oh, hello Lucianne. How are you? Our weather isn't too great this morning. It could be worse. It's a bit dull, although the sun is trying to come out at the moment. So this morning I'm stamping with the Sweet as a Peach stamp set. I'm also using the Biggest Wish. And I'm using some of the Christmas papers from the annual catalogue, and I will share those with you in a moment. But I promise there is nothing Christmassy at all happening here in the studio today. It's a little bit early for me. Years gone by, I used to start classes in July. So we have, in the crafting world, we have what's known as Christmas in July. Lots of demonstrators do events for Christmas, and it's kind of like a little kickstart to encouraging us to do a little bit each month towards the festive season. So it's a good idea, but I think I will be hanging on till a little later in July. Of course, really exciting things happening in the world of Stampin' Up as a demonstrator. This week we had our July to December, which isn't coming out until August, so you will know it as the August to December mini catalogue. That's coming out for demonstrators as a PDF right now. So if you want to get ahead of the game, have a sneak peek at what's in that catalogue, you need to join my team today. And if you join today, I can guarantee you'll be viewing that online PDF version of this beautiful catalogue of seasonal, autumnal, Halloween, dare I say, for those of you that love it. Lots of lovely, beautiful products. And as a demonstrator, we get to pre-order them from July the 1st. So that's super exciting. So you will be seeing some sneak peeks. I'm not going to go too heavy just yet. Morning, Kate. You're waiting for a delivery. Okay, if you've got to run off, totally fine. Thank you for stopping in to say hi. Hello, Ruth. How are you? Ruth, I'm hoping that I will be getting to you at some point, either today or tomorrow, if I can actually manage to leave the house. You know what I'm like, guys. I just want to be over here all the time. I'm home alone this weekend. Jason's gone off to Donington last night. So I have a huge list of things I need to do. I want to hoover the car, I want to wash my car, I need to do weeding, I need to do some more planting, I need to get some more compost, I've got ironing to do, I've got some furniture to paint. Goodness knows I'm probably going to get a very small amount of that done this weekend, but I would like to leave the house at some point just to see somebody, because I don't see anybody here. I live behind very tall hedges. Those of you that have been here will understand. And electric gates. I don't see people passing. I don't dislike that. Don't get me wrong. I love where I live. I love our area. It's beautiful. A little rural. But yeah, sometimes it's just nice just to get out and see other human beings. I have, of course, my little four-legged friend who's come up to say hello. He keeps me company all of the time. So, yeah, enough. He's sniffing me now. No, down, good boy, down. So, yeah, excited for a minute, and he's rocking the table. So, yeah, Ruth, if I can get to you, I will. I've got your basic white, so I feel that I need to get to you pretty soon. I've got some other goodies as well. So, shipping has kind of gone crazy this week. I placed an order early Monday and it arrived yesterday. So those of you that placed orders with me at my Creative Escape, your orders are here. So if anybody wants to collect, please do let me know. Morning, Louise, how are you? I've got kits here, ready to go out as well. I've been working. I was awake at 6 this morning, which is nothing unusual. In fact, that's quite a lie-in to what I've been having lately. So I was over here bright and early and getting on with things. So morning, Janet. How are you, my lovely? Okay, let me stop waffling because I've got lots to share with you. Alfie, you need to go and lie down. There's a good boy. There's a good boy. Sit. He is a good boy. Honestly, we're so lucky. He's such a good boy. Right. Yeah, kits are ready to go. So watch your mailboxes. So I'm talking about my Sweet as a Peach class in the post. I also have my Plentiful Plants class in the post. I'm just ignoring him. And that's not a mean thing, but he will continue to nudge my arm to be stroked if I carry on. So yeah, anyway, excuse the palm of my hand. Let's turn you down, move everything out of the way. Just bear with me. Oh, I hate this part. Oh, I pressed something I didn't mean to press then. Now I'm not sure how I get out of it. You're seeing my ceiling. I pressed the settings button. Oops. See, look, that's why I hate the whole transition. Right, let's zoom in a little bit. Get some light on. My MacBook has frozen. Thank you for that. Just when I need it to catch up. Oh, and now it's done that silly screen change where I'm not going to be able to read your comments and see what I'm doing. But I will do my best. Okay, what I might do is actually go right out of Facebook and come back in a moment. So today I'm going a little bit random with the Sweet as a Peach. No peaches in sight. Let's bring in some things that I am using. So I'm going to be using the flowers again from the Sweet as a Peach. I'm also using the Biggest Wish, which I will be focusing on next month as well. Morning, Vicky. How are you? Happy weekend. It's a bit grey here, a bit cloudy. It's breezy. The sun is trying to come out, but I'm looking across to the hills and it's looking a bit grey. I think we could be having some rain. I did go down and water all my veggies outside this morning, just in case, because when we have a little drizzle, it's not enough, you know, to feed everything. So yeah, I did that just in case. But yeah, so 2 stamp sets I'm using. I am also using the Beauty of the Friendship, this little splat, because you know I love a splat. So I've pulled that one out. My colour combination came purely from the DSP. And here it is. It's Christmas, guys. It's called Tidings of Christmas, 6x6, as you can see. I have shared some images online about this one. Louise, these 2 stamp sets are your favourites. I know, and they are kind of in the top 10 regularly. They're really good sets. So very versatile. So at first glance, the papers look very festive. Okay, so you can see holly, you can see berries. But the other sides, obviously we've got red going on. We've got a bit of cherry cobbler. It is cherry cobbler, isn't it? Yes, cherry cobbler. But the other patterns are very, very usable, I think, for non-Christmas crafting. Now, I know that you have like these leaves here, which are a bit holly-ish. And of course on here you've got pine cones and hollies and berries, but I don't think they scream Christmas. They don't to me anyway. And that was my inspiration for today's projects. Right, let's put those away. Put them to one side. I'm also going to be using the brick and mortar because I think it just goes lovely with plants and flowers, and my colours are quite masculine. So you could easily adapt my projects to switch out my flowers and put something masculine in its place. So that's one thing that I try to do. I mean, my cards are definitely feminine today, but I think that this is quite a masculine colour combo. But wait until you see the projects. You can have your choice, what you think on that. Okay, let's get moving. Let me locate my first set of kits. Let's adjust the grid paper, tape it down, and then we're ready to go. What I'm going to do is bring everything forward a moment and just wait for catch up. Otherwise my grid paper is 10 feet away from me and I cannot, it's so hard to stamp when it's far away from you, which I'm sure you can appreciate. Although I'm stood over, because I like to stand when I'm doing my live, although I'm stood over, just move that a bit, my camera's right in the way of where I want to be stamping. Anyway, enough waffle. Let's just straighten up and have a look. So I'm focusing on, let's grab a sheet of it, for today's projects. For me, the most challenging sheet in the pack, Facebook is telling me my live has ended, but I know it hasn't. It's just my connection. Because my phone, I can still see myself live on my phone. So for me, this was quite a challenging sheet of DSP to create something non-Christmassy, because it's very Christmas greens and we've got kind of red berries and holly, and we've also got mistletoe going on in here as well. But I'm hoping, and I hope that you'll agree by the end of my projects, that I've kind of nailed the idea that this is not just for Christmas. Right, let's bring in some stamps. So I'm starting with a basic white base. Let's give that a little crease to start with, and then I can pop it to one side. Hoping that I'm zoomed in enough. So how are we all doing? How is everybody? What is your day bringing for you? What are you up to? Oh, Vicky, Sydney's gone into 2 weeks lockdown. Oh, I'm so sorry. We've been through a lot of that in the past few weeks. We were in it for several weeks. It's been so tough, hasn't it? But I think, you know, we're all learning to deal with what is thrown at us. So, and it's all change. It seems to be changing all the time. So hopefully after your 2 weeks that things will be able to open up a little and get back to some kind of normality. Louise, you're loving the papers. Yeah, definitely. So while we're talking about papers, a little sneak peek. Next week, on the 1st of July, Facebook's thrown me out again, we are having a DSP sale, and this pack of DSP, it's the Tidings of Christmas, is in the sale. So if you feel that you need it, add it to your order. So the colours I'm using are Misty Moonlight. Let's bring in the inks. Misty Moonlight, Soft Succulent, Evening Evergreen, and then I've got an old style Sahara Sand that we're using as well. So that's the 4 colours of the cardstock I showed you earlier. Oh, I don't like it when I can't see the comments. It's really hard, because it means I can't see both things in one go. Ruth, you've been for a run. You've made a cake and now you're going to sort some paperwork. Wow, you sound like my kind of girl where by 8 a.m. you've almost done a day's work. So yeah, and that's the great thing, isn't it? If we kind of eat the frog, get the nasty jobs done first, well, maybe not the nasty ones, but get the jobs done out of the way, and then we can reward ourselves with a bit of me time later in the day. So Yeah, the DSP is lovely. I will add, without wanting to scare you all, I did get this and this. So these I will be focusing on next month. But to begin with, I'm not going to be doing Christmas projects with them. I'm not sure what I'm doing yet, but the plan is not to do Christmas projects. Right, I'm just going to open up another page in Facebook and see whether it will perform better for me. So just bear with me. So what I'm going to do first is emboss this layer with the brick and mortar. Right, let me just, I'm back on now. It's probably going to throw me out again, so it's so much better when I can view it differently because all my comments are down on the right hand bar. Morning Ellie, lovely of you to join us. You're trying to listen with the children around. Yeah, not always the easiest thing to do. Emma's been swimming already. Or when you're taking them for a treat, for a drive-through KFC, for a birthday treat. How lovely. Well, have fun with that. Okay, now I have to concentrate now and think. My card is going to be landscape. Oh, actually, let us not. I'm switching, had the wrong card in front of me. My card is going to be portrait. So, and I'm going to emboss the whole of this basic white layer. To help me get it straight, I'm using this line on the embossing folder. So I'm just lining it up and that will help me get it straight. Remember, this folded edge needs to go through your cutting machine first. Now, it's not always possible to do that, and I will share that when I do another project. If you don't want to emboss the whole of a sheet, then sometimes we do have to turn that embossing folder round, but I don't recommend that you do it very often because what will happen is it will damage that that fold by putting it through that way. So always ensure that the Stampin' Up logo is upright and facing you. That's the best way. Don't know if you can see just how beautiful this brick and mortar is. If you caught me for my live on Tuesday, you will have seen me use that. Right, the other thing I want to do, I want to create myself a nice scallopy border with this piece of soft succulent, and my trusty Stitch So Sweetly dies are going to help me do that. So what I'm going to do, let's bring in my platform sheets. I'm going to run one through like this. This is the largest scallop rectangle. I'm going to run that through first. Carefully pull that off. I think that's torn it. I might have to get another piece. So by just putting in a little strip, you get a lovely border, and then I can get another one from the other side quite easily. I've got plenty left there. Just run that through quickly. So as tempting as it is for me to spend my whole day over here, I really do have to look at my list of tasks and get some done. Because believe you me, when I'm home alone, there's nothing I love better than being over here. Okay, so what I want to do, I've cut a piece of the DSP at 1 inch. Have I cut it to length? So let's give you my layers, because both, I'm doing 2 cards, both have exactly the same measurements. So my base is 8 1/4 by 5 3/4. So that's my basic white layer. The Misty Moonlight is 3 3/4 by 5 3/8. Then my next layering piece, which is the basic white, I've embossed it so it could have shrunk or stretched, but that's an 1/8 of an inch less at 3 5/8 by 5 1/4. So if I've cut this ready, this should be 5 1/4. Yep. And probably I've added on a little smidge just to allow as well. So what I want to do, let's get some Tombow, some scissors ready. I'm just going to start. I feel like it's dark in here today. It's because there's no sun coming in through the Velux. And all I'm going to do is add that onto my DSP just to create. So as you can see, one piece isn't long enough. Just moving my light. I feel like it looks dark. So what I'm going to do is add on a second one. So let's just pop a bit of Tombow at the bottom there. Now I feel that might get on my grid paper. Let's just put that down. I don't want a sticky splodge on my grid paper. And then I'm going to line up, don't know if you can see if I can do it in the air so it's close. I'm going to line up that last scallop like that, so it looks as if there's a continual run. Like that. Snip it off. I think when I ran that through, I just missed it. So I'm just going to round that off. Oh, that was a bit. I'm going to pull that off. Don't look. I'd missed a bit on there. When I'd run it through my machine, it had missed a bit of the edge, so, and then it had the end piece. So let's just do that bit again. Pull off that bit. Tombow all over me now. And let's just reline these scallops. That's better. And snip off the end. There, can you see that Tombow on my grid? Put that to one side. So now we've got a lovely long border of scallops on the edge. I love using my Stitch So Sweetly dies to do that. So before we put these two layers together, we're going to add on this piece because we may need to trim off a bit from the top and the bottom. And the great thing about creating borders like this is that you can use all of your leftover bits and pieces from your scrap box or scrap bag. So let's just line that up. I'm following a line on my grid to try and keep it straight. Just going to give my fingers a clean from Tombow. And then, as you can see, we just have a little bit of overhang, which is good. It's better to have an overhang than it be short. And then we'll layer this straight down onto the Misty Moonlight. With a nice even border all the way around, as best as we can with my cutting. Okay, so at this point we could make this card very Christmassy indeed, because I love that they've brought in the Misty Moonlight within these colours, and then we've got Sahara Sand, which I love. It's, you know, Sahara Sand and Crumb Cake are two favourite kind of neutrals, just because they go with everything and they're just so usable, and they tone, for me, they tone down bright colours, because this is quite deep for me. These are quite deep colours. Evening Evergreen is a very dark colour, and for me, I will only probably use it in small doses. So I'm just now popping this layer down onto my base, like that. Let's get a little bit of stamping done. Let's bring in my foam mat, a bit of spare grid paper, and from the Sweet is a Peach, I'm going to be using this large leaf image and this trio of flower. This is one stamp. Let me show you. So this is the leaf image here. That's probably a better shot. And this is the trio of flowers. And I love that they're all on one stamp. And of course, they're all on one die as well, which is brilliant. So let's find some scraps. It's rather a large piece. See if I've got anything. Oh, actually I need a large piece for that leaf, don't I? So I'm going to stamp my leaf in the soft succulent and then my flowers in Misty Moonlight, which some of you may not like. I mean, we do get blue flowers. We definitely get blue flowers. So let's ink up this lovely leafy image, which of course, let's try and get this on at an angle, which of course is designed in the set to work with the trio of peaches as well, which is really clever. I love that this is designed to, you know, be used in different ways. And then we want, with the Misty Moonlight, a trio of flowers. I did think about stamping these off, and then I thought, nope, let's keep them as they are. I'm going to save that bit and then quickly run these through my machine. So, need these two dies, a couple of bits of washi tape. Stick them down because we don't want them going anywhere. We've taken the time to stamp them. We don't want to have them moving about. I'm looking forward to having a magnetic plate back at some point. I have no idea what is happening as regards production of that. Let's just pop that plate on. My plate's getting a bit loved, but it still works. It still works. It might have a few cracks in it, but it's had a lot of use. I use my die cutting machines a lot. They are a very used tool for me here. This is how dies get lost in the bin. When you push things out and they remain in your bit of card, and you throw that in the bin quickly, not thinking. So what I try to do every time I use a die is put it straight back on my magnet sheet, and then I know that it's there, that I've done it, because we all get sad when we lose dies. The other thing I need to cut out, let's stamp first. Kerry, one thing at a time, stop running ahead of yourself. I know you guys do that as well. I'm not just crazy. I know you all talk to yourselves. In fact, Ruth and I, we were talking to ourselves, and we were sat opposite each other last week at my creative escape, and we were chuckling at each other, weren't we, about how we have a good talking to ourselves. So I've just inked up the happy word from The Biggest Wish. This is just £16 in the annual catalogue. I would encourage you to get this because it's just such a great set of greetings. So usable, really handy to have in your stash. Okay, next thing I need, already put in my kit a strip of basic white, and I cut this to 1 1/8 deep. Okay, so I've just got a random scrap and I've cut it at 1 1/8. And the reason for this is that, oh, I'm missing a stamp. I want the birthday. This is a great height to work with these stamps. It's just a really good height to work with. Now, last week on my Facebook Live, I tried to do like a bit of an ombre effect. Where's my card? So this is one of the cards that I did on Tuesday's Facebook Live. And I tried doing this ombre effect using a little sponge dauber. So one of these, which are really, really handy. But yesterday I was playing and I thought there's an easier way to do this. You don't get such a soft finish, but I thought I'd have a little play and I think it turned out okay. So maybe I'll let you be the judges. I don't mind, I'm open to any criticism, honestly. I don't mind. I'm the kind of girl who wears a heart on her sleeve, but in all fairness, if I would rather know if people didn't like something, or I'd rather people kind of said. Anyway, going back to my stamp, what I'm going to do is ink it up in Soft Succulent. Now I need to check. Janet, you got the biggest wish. It is a really popular set right now. So I've inked it up. I can see a hair on the bee. Thanks for that, Alfie dog. Good job I spotted it. Let's ink it again. And what I'm going to do is hover it over the edge of my mat like this and stamp it down like that. I don't know if you can see, but it's pulled off half of the ink, and before it dries, I've got to pull this low so that I can see. I'm going to stamp it down, and hey presto, we have a kind of non-graduated ombre effect going on. So I thought that was just something a little bit different. Rather than stamping it down, it is a little better in my original card, and to be honest, it was a little straighter. So I feel tempted to have another go. I've got another scrap. Let's have another go at that. Stamp that off. Stamp it down. Hopefully you can see this. I'm going to stamp half of it off and try and get this one down a bit straighter. It's so tricky. That's a little better. A little straighter. I'm going to go with that because I have to learn to stop being so fussy and so particular, which is hard when you like things just so. So that's my greeting. Let's quickly trim out the happy. I'm excited for your order to arrive, Janet. Who doesn't love a delivery day? And as I said earlier, delivery was super speedy last week. Of course, now we had free shipping on, what day was free shipping? Thursday? I've lost track. So things could slow down a little. Just trimming around this. I'm going really quickly. There's no particular way you should do this. It's quite random. Just trim around, turning. Leave a little gap between your cutting edge and the ink, and I just think it makes it pop a little bit, and it's easier to cut if you leave a bit of an edge. Okay, so I've trimmed out those two. Now what do I need to do? Might have to do a bit of die cutting in a minute of some leaves. Let's start building up our card. So first of all, I want to pop, am I still in shot? I'm going to pop this birthday greeting flat down on. I know, I hear you all gasping. What, no dimensional? I think my card will have enough dimension for today once I get my flowers on. This one, of course, will have some dimensionals. Look, I'm at the end of a sheet, but I might use those in a bit. I might need those on my next project. So let's start a new one and just pop a couple. It's always hard getting the first ones out when you've got a new pack, a new sheet. And I'm gonna put it down the right way. Wouldn't look so great upside down. So we've got our happy birthday going on first, and I've put that there first because I'm going to put some flowers up here. Now I could just stick that straight down on there like that, but I've been doing that with a lot of my projects using this set. So I thought I'd go a little bit random and give it a bit of a trim. Snipping it into pieces. Move these over here. So I've just chopped it in to 3 pieces. Let's give the leaves a bit of a curl. The sun is really trying to come out here, which is good. Oh, that one's the wrong way. Right, I'm going to start. This could turn out quite differently from my original plan, depending on how I lay these leaves down. Let's put one up here. One down at the bottom. Oop, stuck to me. Tombow fingers. And then the final one just over here. Oop. Like that, I think. Have no idea whether that it will be okay until my flowers go on, but if I need more flowers, I can cut some more. So let's give these a good squidge. Such a technical term. Have you all got your crafty technical terms? I'm sure you have. And then let's lay down these flowers one by one. Starting with the largest, adding in the medium size. I'm not pressing them down yet because I could well be moving them. And finishing with the smallest one. I may just well wiggle them around a little bit. Oop, that one had a lot of wiggle, didn't it? What are we thinking about the blue flowers? The misty moonlight. Are you loving, are you hating? Let's put some, I've ready cut from the Sweet as a Peach. Let's just remind you. So these sweet little trio dies, they're great for the centers of the flowers. I love this die here. but I just find they're quite large on the centres of the flowers. I tend to use these more to decorate around like a flourish of flowers, or, you know, a spray of flowers. So let's pop these in. I just want to take out the centres. Let's clean the end of my Tombow off. Just pop a little bit in the centres. And then my fabulous Take Your Pick tool to pick up the flower centre there, to pick up these teeny tiny pieces and pop them in the middle. And then I thought to finish, don't know if I've cut these already, but I'm just grabbing a bit of evergreen cardstock. I only want a teeny little piece. So I've got a little scrap here. And then in the die set, I really love these dainty little leaves here. Of course, you get the 4 individual ones as well. So I'm just going to cut a couple of those quickly. They're so sweet and delicate that they're just adding a pop of the evening evergreen to my project. There's one. Just want to cut one more. Is it going to fall out? No. I have to fish it out. They just add they just bring in the evergreen from that strip of DSP. As I said, I didn't want to overpower my project with too much of the evergreen because it is quite dark. And we don't want it to kind of become dreary. But I think little splashes. So let's just pop in. Should have curled the edges first. Definitely need one. I needed that under there really. Might have to add another flower in there. Turn these edges up. Actually really warm today in here. That's stuck to my finger. Just thinking I'm going to have to grab myself a drink in a moment. Having not spoken to anybody really last couple of days. That needs to go in just a tad, like that. And there we go. So just focusing on the DSP. Hi Lisa, how are you? What are you up to this morning? So yeah, just focusing on like the DSP, but I don't feel that it looks Christmassy. I know because I've dragged in flowers and I've put a birthday greeting, but I don't feel that you are directed to that DSP and thinking, oh, that's very Christmassy. I feel, maybe it's just me. I don't know. What do you guys feel? I don't think it looks Christmassy at all. And I don't feel that when I look at it, that I'm like, oh my gosh, that's Christmas paper. Why should she use Christmas paper on there? So here's my original. So as I was saying, I've built up my little flower bouquet. Might be tempted to add another flower in there on the end. But yeah, I was quite pleased with how that one turned out and my kind of ombre effect. Let's put those to one side and bring in the next kit. So of course, same pieces. I'm using the same measurements because I feel that just saves time on design. Using all the same colours. That's kind of how I work. You like it, Lisa. Thank you. It is a birthday card. Thank you, Ruth. Yeah, it is. It definitely is. So next card, exactly the same. As I said, exactly the same layers. I think I've done a bit of die cutting ahead of time because I am wary how time flies when we are crafting, and it's your weekend and you've got things that you want to do as well. I know if you're catching up on the live, that's totally different, but for the sake of the live. So I've got this layer of basic white. Now my card is going to be a landscape orientation this time. And on my original card, I have partially embossed this layer. So I don't want to emboss the bottom part of this layer. So I'm lining it in. Now this is where I would not be able to put it in my machine with the fold over, because obviously this is wider than the space on my platform. So on this occasion, I have to run it through that way, but just be very careful. When you put your top plate on, let me grab my, so this is the top plate for embossing with the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Have it right the way over. I wouldn't have it hovering here, so that when you put it through, the pressure from the rollers begin here and not right on your crease. So let me just switch my layers around, run that through. So quick, so easy to transform a boring sheet of white cardstock into a beautiful embossed layer. Look at that, do love it. Lisa, what are you up to? You were hoping to craft along with me, but you're making cakes and scones. Oh, lovely. And you're listening. That's good. I do this all the time. And hoping to catch up later. Yep, that's the beauty of it. It will get put over to YouTube as well. So these two are going to layer together, but first I need to add on this DSP strip and do exactly the same as I did first time. So Tombow along here. And we're just going to add a little scallopy border to the edge. And then the second piece, I'm going to add the glue on here because I don't know how much of this I'm going to use. Because this is wider, I don't think I'm going to get glue on my grid paper this time. And I will just overlap those scallops so that we get like a continual run. Can you see? You wouldn't really know there was a join there. Love, love, love the Stitch So Sweetly dies. Okay, and now this is going to go down at the bottom. Oh, have I got a little bit of an overhang? Got a bit of an overhang there. Let's get rid of that. Oh, that landed in my misty moonlight. Let's just flick that out. There we go. Tombow on the back of here. And pop that down onto this basic white layer. Near the bottom. Let's follow a line on my grid paper. So I'm just following this line, and then that helps me to get it straight. This is why I love working with grid paper. And you can buy our grid paper as well. You can buy the large sheets like this, or you can buy the lovely pack that has the mini sheets in, which is, I would recommend. It's a good buy. And then I'm going to layer this onto the Misty Moonlight as I did before. I've got a little box for you after this card, because when I make a card, I always like to make something gifty to go with it. And let's pop that straight down on to our base layer. Yeah, I always like to make a bit of packaging if I can. Not every time I make a card, of course, but got a few birthdays coming up, and I think it's always nice to pop a little chocolate treat inside, especially if you're giving money or a gift card or something. It's always nice to have a little package that just makes your card and your your gift so much more. It's hard to know what to get people these days, isn't it? Could I make a suggestion? Our lovely kits collection. I've got a new one, guys. I'm going to show you the inside of that hopefully when I'm done, if I don't waffle too long. Okay, so let's do some stamping. We've got our layers down. Let's bring back in this. Now I need my flowers again. Have I stamped any ready? Have I stamped enough? I think look at my little pot of goodness. So let's steal some flowers from here because I'm using 2 colours for my flowers this time. So that's 1 set, and then we'll have a couple more. Hopefully, might have to tip that out for some bits and pieces in a moment. So let's just clean off this stamp, and I'm going to bring in the Sahara sand and just stamp down. Let's find a bit of scrap. I think I just need 3 for this one. So let's just ink that one up and chop those off. Let's bring back in my plate. Just move you to one side. I also need some teeny tiny flower centres. And look, you can get 9 all in one go. Let's just find some scraps. Some Misty Moonlight and Sahara sand. So, just checking on my 3rd project whether I actually need 1, 2, 3. Let's do 2 of that and 1 of that. Cut the flowers out. You know, blue and natural coloured flowers. Am I going crazy? Quite possibly, guys. Quite possibly. Let's move my chair out of the way. I'm tripping over it. Just run that through very quickly. Oops, one got away. Just pop that back on. Yep, I could be going crazy stamping flowers in such random colours. But anything goes. When you're a creative, we have to try different things. Let's get a bit of static on this top plate. So we've got these lovely Sahara sand flowers. And then these cute little, which do come out lovely. Just push those. They do stick a bit to a well-used plate. This plate isn't that well used. But if you've, like my old plates, they stick quite well in there. So you have to kind of, there's a Misty Moonlight one. Keep losing the end out of there. And then just pull those 2 up. Pop those dies back on the magnetic sheets. Very important. And then we'll do a bit of stamping and then we can take this sheet away. So I'm going to pull back in my Misty Moonlight. Just going to have a quick drink. Catch up with some comments. Morning, Deb. Is it your birthday today? Happy birthday to you if it is. I vaguely remember you saying last weekend actually your birthday was coming, so Many happy returns of the day. How lovely for you to stop in and say hello. Tesco's nearly an hour late. That is not good, especially if you've been waiting in for them. That is not fun at all. I think we've chatted about these online shopping before. I've never ever done an online shop. Ah, how lovely. Lovely to be having a birthday on a Saturday as well. So I've pulled out the happy. So I've got a little order here for you as well, Deb, that arrived after last week's Creative Escape. So I've pulled out the happy and I've just inked it in Misty Moonlight. I'm just going to stamp it down like that. And then I want the birthday. Is that going to fit on there? That should just fit. And I'm going to do the birthday greeting. If you don't like fussy cutting, you'll find other ways of stamping this. You can take a strip of cardstock. This is a bit narrow, but you could take a strip of cardstock and just simply stamp it down. But you know me, I love a bit of fussy cutting, and I know a lot of you secretly do as well. I know you groan and you grumble. You've been doing online shopping for a long time, Kate. Yeah, I guess maybe there's just been a bit of a glitch somewhere along the line. You know, there's always hold-ups in life. There's always hold-ups with traffic. It could be anything, I guess, couldn't it? Let's hope they haven't missed your order. Anyway, keep us updated. I actually love a trip. I went a bit close then. A trip to the supermarket. That's sad, isn't it? Sainsbury's is my favourite place to shop. I do like a bit of Waitrose, but don't tend to get there that often because it's in the other direction. Love M&S as well. And we've got a few of those locally. But I don't spend an awful lot on my food shopping because I've got my Thermomix and I make everything from scratch. I tend to have like all the staples in my cupboard, and then I just need to go and buy my fresh fruit and veg, and obviously bread and milk. I can make my own bread as well. But I'm lucky that I have a fabulous little village shop that's like a 2-minute drive away, and they have a deli. It's a fabulous little coffee shop. In fact, I'm going to be, when Boris allows and when it's safe and when it's feasible, I'm going to be running a coffee and card event at the Asherworth Hub. So if anybody local is listening in, you can come along, buy a coffee and make a card with me. So that's something to look forward to. So I've just trimmed around the birthday. Next, what I'm going to do is chop up these and do a bit of major fussy cutting. I'm going to try and do this as quickly as I can, so it could get a bit scruffy. Let's trim off. So, HAPPY birthday, Deb. Are you doing something special? I know it's tricky to do special things with our current situation. But you know, for me, as long as I could see my closest family, I'd be more than happy to do nothing else for my birthday. Because family's important, isn't it? Of course, a glass of wine on your birthday is a must, or a gin. Right, I'm just quickly trimming around. This is not hard at all. I went a bit close on this pea. You're just relaxing, Deb. That's lovely. You're going to go out for lunch tomorrow with your close family. That's really nice. That's really nice, actually, because Sunday, it's nice to sort of wander out a bit, isn't it? And do something before the days of COVID and lockdown. Jason and I used to always go out for coffee on a Sunday or a Saturday maybe, just to get out. Even though we've got a super coffee machine here, it's always nice to get out. And you know there's always a rocky road on the go in this house. In fact, I have run out. I did buy one from the deli yesterday. It was, what did they call it? A Rocky Mountain Road? Can't remember. It had raspberries in it. It was like a white chocolate rocky road. Sorry, I just want to trim that bit. Right, fussy cutting done. Sorry, that's a bit painful for you to watch. I could have actually done that ahead of time, couldn't I? Stamping all done, fussy cutting done. Let's bring back in this. Now, I have done ahead of time some more of these die cut pieces here. So this is this full leaf here. Quick drink. I can see Louise's message and let me read it. Yes, of course, Louise. So Louise is asking, do I make lots of samples to show what can be created with like a particular stamp set? Because I think when you purchase a stamp set, where's my catalogue? There it is. So this is, I've got my tabs in ready. This is the Sweet as a Peach stamp set. Now, some people will look at that black and white image, grey and white, as grey as it is, and not feel very inspired or know actually what to do with it, even though this catalogue is like an idea book. It's full of fabulous ideas. Some people cannot see beyond those images. And especially, I mean, I think that's this is quite a good stamp set. You can look at it and think, okay, I've got flowers, I've got peaches, I can do something with that. But some of our stamps, you look at it and go, goodness me, what on earth am I going to do with that one? So I just think if I can share as much as I can, which is why I've changed my Stampin' Chat so that each month I focus on 2 stamp and die bundles, or two stamp and punch bundles, or let's say 2 sweets, excuse me, then I'm kind of discovering, because I'm using it so much, I'm discovering so many different things that you can do with it, and I'm sharing that with you so that you can see, especially with something like this, because as soon as you look at it, you see the peach and you think, oh, it's just a peach. But it has so much more to offer, honestly. When we invest in a product, we need to get our money's worth out of it. And believe me, I sure do. Even though these are almost business tools for me, I get a real good run for my money from them. And at that time, you get to see lots of new different designs done with it as well. And what I'm trying to do is show that even though the Sweet as a Peach stamp set and die, you have the lovely paper that goes with it, the colours in it. So the You're a Peach, it's on my flyer here because that's in the sale, is predominantly pale papaya and pear pizzazz. That by going out of that comfort zone of the DSP colours, by using totally different colours, you can create something that looks quite different. So as I was saying, from this stamp here, I've inked up just this top section 3 times and die cut it out. So I've got 3 separate pieces. So I just want to snip off the top part of each one, just so it doesn't have a rounded edge. And I'm going to pop them at the top, a little bit of Tombow just in the centre. I'm going to pop them up at the top of my card. Yeah, do you know, Louise, people love handcrafted products, probably more so now than before, and it does, we do go through phases with things, you know, trends and things like that, but I think people love handmade. They love something bespoke, and they love something, you know, that's kind of individual, and I think that's the great thing about what we do. And craft fairs are just such a lovely way of getting out, meeting new people, and you know, if you enjoy making your cards, then why not sell them on and get some money back so that you can then reinvest in more product? It just kind of makes sense, really. Bit of a no-brainer. I mean, I could have like the biggest craft sale here. I have hundreds of cards that I've been making during the first lockdown, which is like March, April, May, June, 15, 16 months since first lockdown. I have so many cards. I will be selling them off. I've bundled them all up. I took some along to my creative escape last week. I'm going to be bundling them up. So cards like I'm making today in sets, I'm going to be selling them off because I have oodles and oodles and I can't keep storing them and filling up boxes with them. They need to be loved. They need to be shared. So I'm in the process. I've been talking with my web designer about getting a page set up on my blog, getting a page set up so that I can advertise my cards for sale on there. And they're just going to be like £1 a card. That's when I don't particularly, I'm not making a profit on them. I just need them to be loved and get some use. So my flowers, I'm just going to randomly pop in on my card like that. And mix and match the colours. Just popping Tombow down. Let's turn that one down. Can you see it's got quite a white edge on it? If I turn it that way, it won't show so much. And then we've got 3 more flowers. I've one up here, one here, and one here. Let's turn that one that way. And then we'll finish with a Misty Moonlight one down here. Just give those a little press. Make sure they're all down. I'm sure your projects are lovely as well, Louise. I'm sure people would love to... Oh, I don't know why it keeps falling out. It's because I'm jiggling it around. I just want to take out some of these centres from these flowers. I love doing craft fairs, but for me it's a time issue of getting to them. Our local village before COVID had a regular Friday morning market once a month, so I may entertain going back to that if I've got time, because it's just nice to get out there and meet different people. So yeah, you've just got to be brave sometimes, Louise. You just got to do it. I was so nervous about going live, and I put it off for a very, very long time. But when I did it, you know, we make a few mistakes along the way, but that's life. We learn from our mistakes, and life is a big learning curve. So, you know, don't be worried. We're only human. Do things wrong all of the time. Stick things wrong. They go on upside down, but it's life, you know, it's real. So just be brave and do it. People love to see what we're doing. And I just think it's great that with platforms like Facebook and Zoom, that we can share what we do with others. Because it's been such a tough time that we've been through, and a lot of people have struggled so very much through this pandemic. So I'm just popping these centre flowers in, opposite colours. So Sahara Sand flower with a Misty Moonlight centre. we're nearly done with this. And then this is where my handy, just turn all of this word over, flatten those out. This is where my little edge strip is going to come in very handy. So I'm just going to cut some skinny wedges and pop them down onto my, that one's going to be too big. Pop them down onto my letters. Now, of course, what I could have done is cut strips from the foam sheets, but I like to use up all of my edgy pieces. Right, what I'm going to do first is pop this one here as a guide so that I know roughly where to start my word happy. Creeping up to the top of my page. I want to zoom in a little bit, it could go wrong, just a tidgy bit. So I'm going to start here with my H and just build up my word. So last week on my live, that one's come a little bit lower, I chopped into this word, but I didn't go around each letter like I have done here. I just cut them into strips. You like the flowers, Kate? That's good. I was a bit unsure. But then, you know, we get flowers of all colours, especially of like the Sahara sand. Let's move you over a bit. A bit fiddly. Come out. Sorry, but the Y has to come down a tadgy bit. And then a couple of dimensionals behind here. Just to raise it up a bit. And then we are done. And then I'm just going to pop that one down, slightly overhanging my word, happy. And there we go. Happy birthday. So another same but different. Let's bring the other one back in so you can see. Where did I put it? There it is. So exactly the same measurements of the card, just two different orientations. Of course, you could do a landscape one that way with the border at the top. Janet, you like the flowers as well. Lovely, thank you everybody. Yeah, I like the Misty Moonlight ones, but didn't know whether they would just be, they do make the card kind of pop a bit, which sort of brings you away from the deepness of the Evening Evergreen. Okay, final project. This is my original, by the way, which is much the same. You could add teeny tiny plain, the basic pearls to these, but I've just left it as they are. I might try it on one and see how they come out. Okay, my next project was inspired by a box that we made at one of my retreats a while back. I'll show you the box. It's a bit bedraggled. It's a bit, it's got a bit squashed on journeys. But I just wanted to show you where my thought process came from. So this is the box. Do you all remember this lovely bee stamp set? We had the DSP to match, which I still have a pack of this paper if anybody is in need. It's beautiful. And we just had a sliding belly band. We made a window sheet pop-out lid, and then we put chocolates in one of our treat bags, which sadly we don't do anymore, those gusseted ones. And I was investigating these chocolates. I was trying to think how old they were, whether it was last year ago, April. I can't remember. No, 2 years ago, April. There's no date on a Ferrero Rocher on an individual chocolate. Does that mean that I can still eat it regardless? maybe not. So that's where my inspiration came from. And it's always good to revisit projects that you've done. You know, you do not have to reinvent the wheel every time you sit down to craft. And I am a good believer of that, you know, when you're rolling with something like the cards that I've just made, use the same measurements, make several cards while you've got everything inked, but also revisit past projects. So, oh, Ellie, you like the cards, thank you. Louise, yeah, the brick and mortar embossing folder is really great because it's good for masculine projects and it's good for general all-round as well. So imagine this card without flowers. Imagine it with maybe a tree. Let's just pull in the beauty of friendship. Maybe you stamp a tree on here instead of the flowers. You could get away with that as being a man's card, especially if you changed the background to the evening evergreen. So I do love that brick and mortar. The other favourite of mine is the bark. That's a super one as well. So there we go. Okay. Bits and pieces here. Lots of bits and pieces. I've done a bit of die cutting ready, a little bit of scoring. So let's bring in my scoreboard. This is my base of my box. Let's move some bits out of the way. Find my scoreboard, which is always under my table on the chair next to me, and give you some measurements. So I think there are different ways of doing the lid on my box. I'm not repeating the way I did the last one. I was faffing around with it yesterday afternoon and thought, let's just create a quick lid to go on top. So it measures 8 1/4, which is really important in my world because that's the width of A4 if you are in Europe, and it is 7 inches deep. So it's 8 1/4 by 7. And what we're going to do, I'm going to turn it that way just because, can you see it's bending up? So I'm going to score it on this side. Drop my scoring tool. Let's just have a drink. Janet's laughing her pants off at me. And we're going to score it at 2 on each edge. Now this is from memory. I'm hoping that is the right size. I think it is. I hope it is. And then I've created a lid piece, which, as I've said, I'm not 100% sure about, but it measures 7 inches by 4 1/4, and I've scored it at 2 from each edge, all 2 and 5. So I would score it at 2, turn it, score it at 2. So those are my pieces. So let's put my scoreboard to one side. This will come together really quickly. I'm going to grab my large scissors, put my lid to one side, and I'm going to snip, hoping that you can see my score lines. I'm going to cut up on each corner and take out a little wedge like that. That's quite a big wedge, but it doesn't matter. And then I'm going to turn it and do exactly the same. I'm hoping this is in shot. I think it is. Just while I wait for catch-up. Janet, maybe you're laughing at Louise saying that she needs to add the embossing folder to her next order. Yeah, definitely. It's a good one. Yeah, imagine as well that brick and mortar embossing folder done in a lovely cinnamon cider to make it look like a brick wall. Maybe adding some colour with the blending brushes, give it a bit of an extra finish. Right, let's just crease all of these score lines. So I've got a bit of filming to do later today. I need to try and do a little bit of everything today, I think. A little bit of work, a little bit of gardening, a little bit of ironing, little bit of painting. It's going to be a long day. And then I'm just going to, oh, before I glue this, wait. I've got some layers. So I've cut from soft succulent, I've cut some layers to fit on these pieces. Now let me measure them for you, because I know if you want to make this box, you're going to be thinking, what were those layers? Yeah, going to be a busy lady, but that's me all over. I don't really sit still. And sadly, I find it really hard to relax. I'm not very good at relaxing. So later on this evening, I will be sure to have a small glass of wine that will help me chill down for a bit. So the two longer edges measure 4 inches by 1 3/4. And then the two edge panels measure 2 3/4 by 1 3/4. Okay, and then I've cut some strips of that sheet of DSP. It's very dark, isn't it? What I'm going to do is just pop a little strip on the bottom of these panels, rather than using whole big pieces of DSP. Right, let's just line this up and have them all at the right height. So I'm using 1 block up on my grid paper. I've got it lined on a line here, and then my DSP is lined against the next line above it. Oops, let's just snip that off and trim off that end. And do the same. I'm not convinced that looked straight on the others. I really would like to go shopping, and when I say shopping, I mean shopping, like real girl shopping. But it's always nice to go shopping with someone. I do like shopping on my own. If I'm looking for something specific, like clothing, I think sometimes you need to be on your own. Don't throw like edgy pieces like that. You will find a use for them. I've just got one more piece here to do these two. Yeah, I feel like I want to just go and shop properly. I've been itching to get to a John Lewis. I love John Lewis. I don't know about you guys, but I can spend 2 hours in the kitchen section at John Lewis. It's lethal. But we do have a John Lewis here in Cheltenham, but it's not very big. It's not big enough for my liking. It's okay for like general shopping, but not shopping. And when I go shopping, I like to go to like the Bullring. We have the Mall, we have Cribbs Causeway at Bristol, which is down your neck of the woods, Kate and Deb. Of course, I don't mind a bit of Cribbs Causeway. But I want to go like real shopping. I'd like to go to the Bicester outlet as well. I love it there, but it just gets so busy. And with COVID now, you have to book time slots to go into certain shops. And that kind of puts me off. But I really want to go there just to eat in the farm. I think it's called the Farm Shop, the restaurant there. So what I'm going to do is layer up these panels. Gosh, guys, I'm sorry, look at the time. I am talking way too much. Yeah. Really good at talking myself out of leaving the house though. I was saying that to my sister yesterday. Like, I could pop to Cheltenham. We've got a Neptune in Cheltenham as well, so even more of a reason to head over. And then I come over here, get a bit of work done. And then I'm like, I don't need to go out today, I'll go another day. Honestly, I do that all the time. I'm such a home bird. All the more reason to open up my studio doors and have you guys come here with me. And then I can still craft, but I can socialise at the same time. So I'm just popping all these layers on. It's easier to do this now before we build up our box. Like that. And then what I'm going to do is on these tabs, add a bit of glue and pull it all together. You like listening to me waffle on, Louise. I know, it's company, isn't it? I agree. It's as much as it's company for some of you when I'm live, or even if you're catching me on the replay. It's company for me as well, you know, so I do appreciate that. Just popping these on. Yeah, they do have the Disney shop, don't they? There are some really good shops at the Mall, I'm not going to lie. M&S, huge M&S with a food hall as well, which is always good. Yeah, really good shops. I've not been there for such a long time. To be honest, I am a shopper, but I'm a bit of a splurge shopper, so I don't buy often. But when I shop, sometimes I shop. So I might splurge on one big item, which is usually a handbag. That's what I call shopping. You know, like when you go out and then you go out, you kind of do it. You go large with it. So I'm feeling the need for a bit of a treat. I feel like treating myself. So can you see? Don't know if you can see from the live, there's just where, even though I've cut a wedge, I haven't pushed that layer down in just enough. I'm literally going to snip it off with my large scissors. And you would never know it was there. I think the other's okay. So we've just got this little box base going on. Now you could quite easily leave it at that, pop something in there, a little bag maybe. You could just put in, let me bring this back in. You could pop in a little bag here with some treats in. You could decorate the bag and tie a bit of ribbon around, add a tag, and you are done. You could call it done. Honestly, you could do that. But I wanted to create just another way of doing a really simple lid. So this is my lid piece. As I've said, it measures 7 by 4 1/4. On my original, I cut it slightly shorter than 4 1/4. And I've made this, I think, 4 1/4 and a smidge. You know that technical term? It's a little bit, we'll see when we stick it, a little bit wider. You enjoy spending the time with me. Thank you, guys. That's so nice to hear. I love spending time with you as well. So I'm using the Trio Punch. What is this one actually called? Let's find it quickly. It's another one of those, when you look at it in the catalogue, not actually sure what it does. So it's called Detailed Trio. So it's this here. It cuts a rounded corner, a lovely flower shape out of a corner, which I can show you. Look at that. So you could do that on a corner. And then it cuts like a little ribbon slide as well, which is useful. Let's do the other corner. Otherwise it's going to look a little bit odd. And it just presses down in the middle. Great punch. Let's crease the score lines. You've been crafting as well, Kate. That's lovely. Okay. Right, I've cut some layers ahead of time, of course, just as well, because I've like totally pushed the boat out with you today. And I've cut another strip of this, which should be wide enough, yeah. So let me give you this measurement. It's 4 inches by 2 3/4, and then this will be an 1/8 shorter. So it should be 3 7/8 by 2 5/8. And then another strip of the DSP at 1 inch. And I'm going to cut it just slightly longer. Save that little bit for later. Oh, I've got bits going on everywhere now. It's a good job I had my breakfast before I came live today, or there would be almighty roars coming from my stomach. So I'm just going to add this onto that layer. Lovely little skinny border. And then pop that down onto my basic white layer before I mount it, because I know I'm going to have to trim a little bit off of the end. And then we'll pop this one down. Someone's ventured up again. Like that. I'm just following that line along the middle. And then trim off the backs. Oh, that wobbled. And then wipe off a bit of Tombow that got on me then. And then we can layer up these 2 pieces. I'd like to know actually, if you do have a go at making this, oh, I just got Tombow on there then, whether you come up with a different design lid. I think if I get a chance, I'm going to have another play and come up with a different way of adding on a lid. Let's take off that bit there that got away. And then I'm going to add this straight onto the top here, which is going to be the top of my box. I'm going to have the border at the bottom. Just pop it right down in the middle, like that. Then, let's see what we've got in this little pot. We'll have the hello. We'll have a set of 3 flowers, some leaves. Might just have to do some more, can't pick it up, little flowers. There's one there that got away. Might just have to do one of those, right. All those bits of leftover pieces that are, when I've been creating projects, I stamp a couple so that I've got more than one. And let's just crease these flowers. The Skinny Scallop Border, Louise, is from the Stitched So Sweetly die set. And all I do is I take a strip of cardstock and I run it through my cutting machine like that to give me a little skinny border. I love this die set for that reason. You know I love it for all the other reasons as well. So let me just do one greeting. Oops, that fell on the floor. And I'm going to use the friend. And I'm going to do exactly what I did before with the birthday. So let's open up the soft succulent, ink the whole of the Stamp Up, take off half of it, and then stamp it down. It's a bit pale over there, might just have another go, because we can. That's a bit better. Happier with that one. And I'm just going to snip that one. No fussy, fancy schmancy cutting on this one. But I can keep that and use those letters to cut out to make other words with as well. So that's it for our stamping. move these inks out of the way. I'm just going to quickly cut one more set of those teeny tiny delicate little flowers, because I only need one more. Of course I get 3. Let's just push out, oh, the middle came out. And I'm going to stick this one flat down on here. Like that. Straight would be good. And then pop some dimensionals on my hello. Hello. Crazy. It's because I spend so much time here on my own. I have to amuse myself. Oh, picking up too many dimensionals. So I did schedule in a little class this afternoon, but I did it such short notice, and I didn't think about it until like Thursday night, I think, because Jason was away. I was like, I need some company this weekend. Who's going to come and craft with me? But everybody's gone away or busy entertaining family, and that is totally fine. I will do it again soon. I think it's pretty safe to have 4 people, 4 of you in here with me. We can socially distance. So that's my plan moving forward, is to just start opening up the doors gradually, just to small little groups of you. Let's get these flowers down. There's probably enough tombow there for all 3. Oop. Pop that one in there. Oh, there's a fly buzzing. Alfie doesn't like that word. When I get the fly squat out, he goes crazy. Does anyone else have a pet that does that? Not that like we've ever hurt him with it, of course we would not. But you just have to say, go away fly, like in the house, in the kitchen. He goes crazy, goes running off to his bed, grabs his toy, whatever he can get in his mouth, usually the cover of his bed, drags it around. Funny little creature. It's like an excited thing. Oh. Yeah, I know you're busy, Deb. Of course, I would love to have had you, but another time. Another time, there'll be plenty of times. Jason is away quite a bit, car racing. Oh, Ellie, yeah. I know, we'll have to have a team gathering soon here, I think. So all we need to do now, so this is the lid. What we need to do now is pop this in. Now, I am literally going to glue it to the back of my box, and then we could have it just tucked in like that, or we could have it so that it folds over the front, and then we could attach some ribbon. So what I'm going to do first is just pop Tombow on the back of here and glue it straight down onto the inside here. So it's just going straight down in, making sure it's lined up nicely at the back. Lay it down flat, get your bone folder and give it a good crease. That's hard for you to see, but I need to press down on the table to do that. Like that, okay? And then it does sit nicely inside, like that. Or, I had an afterthought, you could, oops, take some ribbon. Right, I'm just going to close inks, because this is when the danger time is. We're all done. We start flancing things around and then accidents happen and things get dropped in open ink pads. You could tie, this is the Evening Evergreen, the open weave ribbon. You could tie like a little knot or a bow and have that as like a belly band on there to hold the front down. But I quite like the simplicity of it just being in there. It's not ideal. It's not ideal by any means, because like someone will look at it and go, how do I open this box? We could have made it so that there were side tabs on here, but I wanted it just to be simple. So that's my little box that evolved from another project that I did a long while back. Let's bring in the other two things. I'm really pleased with this colour combo. It's quite dark for me, as I've said. This DSP is very deep, but I have been enjoying these projects, and my 6 card class next month is focused around this colour combo as well. I've also included in that colour combo some fresh freesia, so there'll be 2 kind of different colours. So Janet, you like the box? It is beginner friendly, and there's nothing hard about the score lines or the cutting. Ruth, you love the colours as well, thank you. Of course, Louise, you can case anything. Casing means copy and share. Some people say copy and share everything. I'm not a fan of copying something direct. I always start, you know, with an idea, and then I draw a sketch from it, and then I create. And I make it my own. So I don't like to completely copy something somebody's done, but I've given you measurements and things. So you've got all the layers. You can switch out colours, switch out stamps, decorate your box however you wish. But yeah, of course, do as you please. Hope you've enjoyed that this morning. I've thoroughly had a good time. I do need a cup of coffee now, but I want to quickly show you and just talk to you about the kits collection. I will upload this to YouTube, and I'll pop some closer photographs of these projects up later as well. Add that to my list as long as my arms of things that I need to do. So just a reminder that if you purchase any of the kits collection, that I will invite you to a free Zoom stamping session with me. It will be held on the 8th of July at 7 p.m. and regardless of what kit you have purchased from me, you can stamp along with me, and we'll just have a bit of fun hanging out. But I had this new one, new to me, come for the guys. It's lovely. A quick look in here before I go. So it's £18 for this one. You get the Mossy Meadow ink pad. You've got a really fab, let's find a white background, stamp set in here that you're going to use over and over again. So you've got happy birthday, happy anniversary, thank you. You've got masculine wording here. I love you, bit gushy. For all you do, thank you for all you do. So a really great little stamp set. And I can't believe that all of this is just £18 when you get some glue dots. Got a whole large sheet of dimensionals. You also get a block in here. So it is branded with our logo. You can collect those. Ideal if you are new to Stampin' Up, if you've stumbled across me, I've come on your Facebook feed and you're wondering what I'm doing, you'd like to have a go. One of these kits is a great way to start out. So we've got some lovely layers here. Look at the lovely wood grain. So very masculine one here. Some beautiful envelopes. How lovely are they? Then some lovely foiled die cut pieces and some background pieces there. Also got some, these are kind of, they're not vanilla, but they're off-white. If you can see, if I show you like that, some card bases. More beautiful foiled die cut pieces, and then some lovely scenery. How can I show, oh, let's turn that over. These are like, is that the right way round? Yeah, if I show you that side, you can see they're laser cut kind of scenes of treetops. So you've got 5 pieces in there. Absolutely stunning. I cannot wait to craft with this. I'm kind of holding out on stamping with these, but I think I'm just gonna have to go for it and stamp a couple of projects for you on a live, and then save the rest of the project for when I do my Zoom. So I will do a Zoom every month, a Kits Collection Zoom, and you can join with me. Like I said, I will see if you've ordered one, or let me know if you've ordered one, and you can come and hang out with me and we can craft together one evening. So anyway, little reminder about Designer Series paper sale coming next week. So don't miss out on that. And I'll bring back in the projects of today. Can you see why I have so many cards here in the studio? Because I'm doubling and trebling on everything that I'm creating as well. So please look out for some packs of cards for sale that are coming soon. And there will be 3D projects as well. So thank you all for joining me. I hope you all have a lovely rest of the weekend. And take care and stay safe, and hopefully we don't get too much rain, be able to get out in the garden and get some fresh air and get out and about. Deb, enjoy the rest of your birthday, and I'll be in touch with you all very, very soon. So bye for now.